A question that was asked in 1994 to Ms. Sushmita Sen when she was on an international platform for the Miss Universe contest. What is the essence of a woman? She interprets, just being a woman is a God's gift. Then came the candid clincher. The origin of a child is a mother, a woman. She shows a man what sharing, caring, and loving is all about. That is the essence of a woman. Of the 1.3 billion people who live in absolute poverty around the globe, 70% are women. For these women, poverty does not just mean scarcity and want. It means rights denied, opportunities curtailed, and voices silenced. Women work 2/3 of the world's working hours. The overwhelming majority of the labor that sustains life, growing food, cooking, raising children, caring for the elders, maintaining a house, is done by a woman. And universally, this work is accorded as low status and no pay. So what is women's empowerment? Empowerment refers to increasing in the spiritual, social, economic strength of individuals and communities. It often involves the developing confidence in their own capacities. Apart from the economic and social equality, women in India are victims of heinous crimes such as dowry deaths, rape, molestation, and immoral trafficking. Thus, the upliftment of women in social as well as economic level is termed as women empowerment. What is the need of women's empowerment in Goa? There are 4 components to empowerment: economic independence, possession of knowledge, self-image, and autonomy. Empowerment of women demands an affirmative action for women's equal participation at all levels of decision making. We should do the following: mainstreaming women's perspectives and women's issues in all policies and plans, identifying women's needs and priorities while framing development programs, support to women NGOs in addressing women's issues and rights. Thus, empowerment of women emphasizes on creation of an environment which will promote equality between men and women. Let us talk about equal status to women. The status of women in a society is a true index of its cultural, social, and political levels. The status of women is correlated to the participating rights and obligations of women in managing society. In Goa, women are facing different obstacles in male-dominated cultures. It is related to women's status and their future. We have also encountered a lot of cases related to gender differences. The principle of gender equality is enshrined in the Indian Constitution in its preamble, fundamental rights and duties and directive principles. The Constitution not only grants equality to women, but also empowers the state to adopt measures of positive discrimination in favor of women. Indian women are slowly getting empowerment in sectors like education, politics, industries, the workforce, and even more power within their own household. The process of empowerment includes social empowerment, economic empowerment, and political empowerment. The sense of social empowerment comes with education and literacy. Social empowerment is the process of developing a sense of autonomy and self-confidence, and acting individually to make a difference to your own life and the society. Literacy rate in Goa has seen an upward trend and is 88.70% as per 2011 population census. Of that, male literacy stands at 92.65%, while female literacy is at 82.16%. The obstacle for empowerment is dismal education level in women. Therefore, equal access to education for women and girls should be ensured, as education is our fundamental right. We will now speak about crimes against women. Violence against women is the biggest human rights scandal of all times. Where there are cases of forced abortions, rapes, dowry harassments, this trend of violence will not be curbed until violence against women is not severely punished. Crimes against women occur every minute. In 2013, the Goa Police Department has registered 290 felony cases against women, which included 223 against women and 67 against minors. Our national capital, Delhi, till date remains the most unsafe city in India for women. As Goans, we need to implement the zero violence zone. The concept is to encourage people to take part in eradicating violence from their localities. All forms of violence against women, physical or mental, whether at domestic or societal levels, including those arising from customs, traditions, and accepted practices, should be dealt with effectively with an objective to eliminate injustice and crimes against women. Further, I will speak about trafficking and prostitution. The labor market has an underbelly of dark secrets, of prostitution, escort services, and the little talked about pornography, to meet the growing demands of tourism. Not surprisingly, the demands of tourism do not attract Goan women alone. It also involves the trafficking of women from the relatively poor states like Karnataka, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh. Goa has taken to a new height with the new entrant of foreign women such as the Russians. Numerous sex rackets have been unearthed by the Goan media. When the government of Maharashtra imposed a ban on dance bars in the state, the girls headed to Goa in numbers, sizable enough to enrage the local villagers. But a few of these cases have been dealt with conclusively. Women's cells in police stations, Mahila courts, counseling centers, legal aid centers, therefore, should be strengthened and expanded to eliminate violence and atrocities against women. I will now address the issue of health and nutrition. Malnutrition is found particularly among women with a low standard of living. Younger women, illiterate women, and women belonging to scheduled castes and other backward classes. A holistic approach to women's health should be given, which includes both nutrition and health services. Health risk of malnutrition and disease that women face at all the three critical stages, namely infancy, childhood, and adolescence, and reproductive phase, focused attention should be paid to meeting the nutritional needs of women. This is also important in view of the critical link between the health of adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, with the health of infant and young children. The reduction of infant mortality and maternal mortality, which are sensitive indicators of human development, is a priority concern. Women should have access to comprehensive, affordable, and quality healthcare. Another issue, which is widely ignored and worth a closer look, is that of women labor employed in industrial estates. With a high rate of literacy, most women in Goa find it unimaginable to be exclusively housewives. Goa also happens to be one of the most expensive states to live in, and this is an additional push to women into the labor market, which is becoming increasingly treacherous with the global search for cheap labor. Presently, Goa has 20 large-scale industrial estates, which employs thousands of women and more joining every year. Although there is a range of stringent labor laws, these industrial units, which are similar to sweatshops, are largely unmonitored by the Labor Department. The women here work under horrendous conditions. These range from damaging levels of noise, to handling hazardous chemicals, to improper safety equipment, to injuries on the work site besides long hours of work. The effect on their health as a result of being subjected to such conditions is largely ignored. Goa desperately needs a labor policy for women, especially one that seeks to adequately protect the health of women. Lastly, I will speak about economic empowerment. Investing in women's economic empowerment sets a direct path towards gender equality, poverty eradication, and inclusive economic growth. Women make enormous contributions to economies, whether in businesses as entrepreneurs or employees, or by doing unpaid work at home. They also remain disproportionately affected by poverty, discrimination, and exploitation. Gender discrimination means women often end up in insecure, low-wage jobs and constitute a small minority of those in senior positions. And because women perform the bulk of household work, they often have little time left to pursue economic opportunities. Women empowerment is critical to the socio-economic progress of the community, and bringing women into the mainstream of national development should therefore be a major concern for the government. I would like to end this, ladies and gentlemen, by another quote by the great Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Woman is the companion of man, gifted with equal mental capacities. She has the right to participate in the very minutest detail in the activities of man, and she has an equal right of freedom and liberty with him. The empowerment and advancement of women includes the right to freedom of thought, conscience, religion, and belief. This contributing to the moral, ethical, spiritual, and intellectual needs of women and men, individually or in a community. Women's rights are human rights. Thank you.